Ball going to the Hornets, Patrick Williams and Isaac Okoro rounding out the top 5. And there was some speculation leading up to the draft as to whether the Warriors would trade or keep the second pick. They did settle on Wiseman. George, do you think that was the right pick for them, considering that they likely already knew about the Clay news when they made the pick?
Rachel, I love the pick, actually. Let's talk about it just from a pure basketball perspective at this point. They need size, right? The champion Los Angeles Lakers have size, and you need to be able to compete with that. Plus, he's a kid that's still growing in a lot of different ways, both physically, from a maturity standpoint, and, of course, his game. Like, he can be more well-rounded as the years go by. I am curious to see, though, if the Warriors maybe adjust their style a little bit to involve him more in the offense without Klay Thompson now being available to them. I'm curious to see that. And I don't think there was a real trade opportunity for them to bring in another superstar that could help them catapult them to that championship level where they would be a potential lock to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the one thing that we're going to see out of this kid and with the Warriors is, can they survive the land of the Wolves? Because that's what they just fell back into with losing Clay. With Clay, top 4 team, right? Without Clay, they are in the land of Wolves fighting for their playoff lives. And this kid, if they make it and they can have an impact in the playoffs, this kid will be a big part of that. I think he's the perfect fit because he doesn't get in anyone's way positionally. They needed size, just like George said, that he's athletic. He's a guy that can get them offensive rebounds, second shots, and he's going to benefit with just playing next to Steph because he's going to draw so much attention. This kid's going to shoot a very high percentage at the rim.
Look, I love the pick, and I'm with both of you guys. I think you cannot pass up on a 7'1" athletic guy like James Wiseman, who's been mentored by Penny Hardaway and Mike Miller, so he's been already training NBA style anyway. And then you throw him alongside a former defensive player of the year like Draymond Green to show him the ropes and mentor him. The sky's the limit for him. Look, James Wiseman said, I do not want to go number 1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves because Karl-Anthony Towns and I will not fit well together. That told me a lot. That said a lot about him. That said that, hey, I want to show the world that I'm that guy. I'm very talented and the sky's the limit, and I really think that he's going to be a future all-star and that he's going to have a phenomenal year this year, and he might be the rookie of the year.
Yeah, and look, I think this was a long-term pick. It's not just a pick for this next season with Clay being hurt, even no matter how much they knew the severity of Clay's injury. This is a conference where you just had 2 bigs on a team that won the NBA championship. So I think this is a long-term play for the Warriors. That being said, it does leave them in a tough position without Clay there. You wonder if in the free agent market that will change what they are looking for. And we will get into that tomorrow because, hey, we got a whole 3-hour free agency show on the jump. But with Clay out for this season, do you think, George, that this changes where you see them in the West? Obviously, as Fizz said, they're not in that top 4, but we got the play-in game now coming into play for the 7th and 8th seeds. And I know that Vegas has been changing some of the odds without Clay as well.
Yeah, Rachel, it certainly changes everything for them. They were a top 4 team in the Western Conference, in my opinion, if they were totally healthy. And now I look at them as, I don't know, anywhere between 5 and 10, basically, because the West is just so hard. And I know maybe they get in that play-in game and they can get, catch fire or whatever. I just don't buy that without Klay Thompson. We're talking about one of the greatest shooters in the history of the sport, that they can catapult themselves into the upper echelon of the Western Conference. And look, maybe they can make a move. To your point, we were talking about Bogdan Bogdanović earlier. They have a $17 million cap exemption right now. I would take a shot and see if you can get him to fit into that cap exemption. If you can do that, then maybe I feel better about their chances.
I totally agree. I think that the Warriors are not sitting over there pouting. They know that Clay's hurt and they have to deal with that, but they have an opportunity now to still add some valuable pieces to this team that can move them a little bit away from the bottom of that playoff run. Again, you still got champions on this roster, so these guys are going to have an edge on a lot of these young teams that's fighting for those last spots as well. But I just think if they can spend the rest of their money right, they can still add some serious pieces to this team that can make them very dangerous moving forward.
I I agree. Look, I don't have the Warriors falling no further than about the 6 or 7 seed without Klay Thompson, and here's why. One is that I would never bet against that green-eyed assassin in Steph Curry, who is one of the best point guards to ever touch the basketball, right? And then I got faith in Andrew Wiggins. This is the first time that he's able to come around and be in a great culture, a great environment where he's going to be around Steph, Klay, and have Steve Kerr and Mike Brown and Ron Adams to put him in position to be successful. And I think he's going to embrace this opportunity.